Peace, family. It's your brother, Mr. Holipsism. This is extremely impromptu. Like I actually decided to do this maybe 5 minutes
Peace, family.
before.
It's your brother, Mr. Holipsism. This is
Um,
extremely.
yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to mute. But anyway, I just felt the need to say something because I've been seeing a lot of comments lately. Um, I mean, the anti having your own nation state is really been ramping up toward the end of the year. And I just want to kind of like throw up a roadblock or a big fucking wall to prevent that shit from going further into 2019. And I just wanted to send out a message. First of all, wishing everybody a happy new year and hope you come into the new year safely and around your family and friends. And if you can't be around your family and friends and you're at work, like I'm going to be, enjoy it with your coworkers. You know what I'm saying? Just be safe. Um, but this message is really an end of the year message for those still on the fence about nationhood. If there are any people who are on the fence, because it seems to me like you either for it or you're against it at this point. I don't see many people, you know, kicking their heels up and putting their hand on their chin, like going, I wonder if this nation thing is good for us as a people. But I wanted to address a couple of talking points that I see floating out in the atmosphere. One of them is, who are we going to force out of land in the on the African continent in order to get land on the continent? What country is going to cede land to us? Why would Africans cede land to African Americans? African Americans having their own nation state is divisive. Blah 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 blah. Now I could attack one of those things one at a time, but since I'm a overview type guy, that's the way that I think. I want to approach it from this angle, and this is speaking specifically to people who are on the fence. I have a question. What when you hear people talking about Black Power or anything culturally conscious, what does that look like to them? And I may be rewording this because I've asked this question before. Um, but it seems like I don't think people are really comprehending what I'm saying. So let me try to put it in a different way. When you think of Black people, specifically in America, being empowered, what does that look like to you? Now, maybe I need to clarify that some more. I mean, I don't, it sounds pretty self explanatory, but let me explain what I mean. When I think of power, I think of our people having their own piece of territory. I see our people building on that territory, building infrastructure, creating jobs to build those infrastructures, um, and ultimately having our own nation, meaning that we control policy on that piece of territory and everything. We control every aspect of that society from the top to the bottom. There's no outside, external, whatever. That's what I see as power. If you're on the fence and you're listening to these black talking heads in the so-called cultural conscious community, which I will still use as a pejorative, and I think I'm fair in doing that. I want you to ask them, what do you when you see power, when you always talk about black power, but what does it mean? Like when you see it in America, what does it look like? Ask them to explain it to you so that it can make sense to you. So you can say, oh, okay, I can see that happen in America. Oh, okay, this is what our people are going to look like in America. I mean, I want to know. I want to know the specifics of it because everybody wants to know the specifics of nationhood, which is really a ridiculous question. Because like all you have to do, what are the specifics of America? You living in a nation. You don't know how nations work. It's crazy. You live in a nation But yet you're asking me, well, what's the purpose of a nation? Somebody actually asked me that on Facebook. What is the purpose of a nation? Nigga, you live in America. What's the purpose of America? What's the purpose of any nation on the face of the earth? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times I think it's just like we live and we interact and we deal with these concepts on an everyday basis, but when it comes to applying it to ourselves, all of a sudden it becomes foreign to us. I actually had a conversation with my nephew a long time ago. This may be like a year or two ago. Minister DeWood will probably remember. Oh, sorry. Peace to DeWood, peace to Odas, peace to Fosa, peace to Brother Danubian. Thank you all. I didn't promote this, so I just threw it up. I'm glad you guys saw it. And my nephew said, well, if you're gonna have a nation, you got to be able to protect your leaders, and you got to have um, what do you say? Like you have to have a successor to whatever your leader is. And I said, dude, don't you live in America? Don't we have that in America? In America, if Donald Trump becomes, gets assassinated or he loses an election or whatever, they have a process for the next president. As a matter of fact, if you don't have a successor, you don't have a freaking nation. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like the comments and stuff that people are like not applying where they live at now and what they live in now, this context, to the nationhood context for us. It's no different. It's no different. So when people say you can't have, so my thing is this: as African Americans, let's look at the history. I'll give you a brief overview. We were dragged over from our motherland, put on ships and boats, and sent to foreign lands. Now I'm going to deal. Now I know there's diasporans all over the world, but let me deal with African Americans since that's what I am. Um, so you come into America basically as a slave. You exist as a slave for a certain period of time, and then they free you from slavery, but they don't give you any land. They don't give you any ability to control infrastructure or have a nation of your own. So basically, you're just a freed slave living in the land of the people that enslaved you. I'm trying to figure out what step 3 is because I don't think we've gotten past that. Do we have a land of our own? No. Do we have any socioeconomic and political control? No. So have we gotten past the freed slave stage? I mean, if we have, let me know how. Where's our government? Where's our military force? Where's our economic system? Where's our political system? Since we are a nation here in America, where are all of those things? Who are the leaders of them? Can I send them an email? See, I'm getting to the point now where I think that intelligent people have already come to a conclusion. You know, intelligent people have already come to a conclusion. If you want power, how can you say you want power but you don't want to control the land? And people are already leapfrogging past that. It's like, well, how are you gonna have? Who's gonna give you land? Da da da. Man, nigga, let's first things first. Do you believe that we should have it? Because to me, asking who's gonna give you land before you actually agree that we should have land is like saying, well, how they gonna let us win the Super Bowl if you're a football team? What the fuck? Aren't it should that be your goal? Nobody's gonna let you do anything. What is your goal? Or should we even have a goal? Because when I listen to these black talking heads, nobody seems to agree that we should have an overall goal or vision. Like what Minister DeWood always asks? What is your end game? What's your end game? Because all of the other stuff is irrelevant to me. Don't come about, oh well, what land we gonna have? What country's gonna cede you land? Who you gonna displace? Da 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 da. All of that is stuff that you deal with and consider when you first acknowledge that you need land. So I'm not going to get caught up in that matrix of bullshit. Do we need land? or not? That's the question people should be asking. Don't leapfrog and then start debating about, oh, well, they ain't gonna give you this. No, no, nigga. Do we need land or not as Africans here in America? Yes or no? Or do you believe that we should try to fight for equality in this land and never have any socioeconomic and political control over any territory ever? Everywhere that we go, we have to live under the socioeconomic and political system of somebody else, be it African, be it American, be it any race or any ethnicity of people. Should we not, as people who've been ripped from their motherland and never had an opportunity to control any territory, should we be given the opportunity to do so on our motherland? See, you got to make it simple, man. Don't get caught up in their bullshit because they're going to send you all the way around and have you debating about this and debating about that when we're not really getting down to the really key question. The key question is, should we have a land of our own? Should we have a piece of territory of our own on the continent where we were fucking snatched from? And my thing is, and I'm really serious about this, we should poll or ask this question to every African country on the continent and see what the percentage of the people feel that we should have our own land and the percentage of people who feel that we shouldn't. So it could be on the record. Because my thing is, don't call me your brother and don't say, oh, come home, brother. Yet I'm not allowed to have my piece of the continent. You're not saying come home, brother. You're saying come home, slave. Don't be a slave to America. Be a slave to me. And it may sound harsh me saying that, but it's really like that. If you don't feel that African Americans who are ripped from their land should have a control of a piece of land on the continent where there's plenty of undeveloped land on the continent, it's not like the continent has a lack of land. But yet, like somebody asked me, well, who you going to displace when you come over there? Well, who did you displace when the Chinese came over there? Who did you displace when the Russians came over there? Oh, nobody? Oh, so you can deal with those countries, you can deal with those ethnicities. And all of the conflicts and strifes going over on the continent right now, are African Americans involved in that? Are we involved in that in any way, shape, or form? You see how much division is going on right now on the continent, absent African American involvement. You ain't saying shit about that. But if the African American comes over to try to establish something of their own on the land that they came from, they're being divisive. Like I said, Minister, I've been debating this for the longest, and you've been saying this for the longest, and I'm tending to agree with you and say that I was wrong. And I'm not ashamed to say that I was wrong. I think me, you, Neo, Kala, and who am I leaving out? Me, you, Neo, Kala, oh, Dynas should get together. What's that? Me, Minister DeWood, Kala Genesis, Neo Black Nationalist, and Dynas. Five fingers of death. Put us in a debate with the top five do it right here niggas. I don't usually like this stuff. I really don't, but I think that you're right. I think that we need to curb stomp these dudes and these chicks into the fucking fetal position in 2019. I really do. I think it needs to be a head-on-head confrontation between black African nationalists and African-centered progressives and these do it right here bootlicking niggas. Pick the top five. Let's get it on and let's stomp these dudes into the curb. Because it's really at this particular point, who's gonna fuck with us? Because I was listening to what's the dude Tone Talks, and I think he's down with Yvette Carnell. And the funny thing, like Thomas, me and Thomas was talking about this, and oh, I forgot Thomas. Thomas could be included in that too. But I was talking about this Tone Talks had a dude on, and they were talking about what are they talking, housing or something like that. But what my point was to Thomas was, I was saying, the funny thing about Yvette Carnell and Tone Talks is that all of the information in the so-called, and well, I won't say so-called, the data, because a lot of their data is the same data that I use. We're both using the same data. You know, I'll get back to you, folks. I want to comment on that. But we're both using the same data. Like when we go through all of the ills that we suffer in America and how we're disadvantaged in America, Yvette Cardinal and Tone Talks information is legit. The only thing that differs between us and them is their conclusion. It's like you provide all of the statistics and the data showing how fucked up things is for African Americans in America, descendants of slaves, which we are right. I'm with you. I'm right there with you with that. And then you fucking face plant like an extreme skateboarder when it comes to your conclusion of what we should do with that data. That's where we go like a V shape. We go in completely different direction. So you bring up all this data and then you say, well, the solution to the problem is we need the government. It's like, what? You came up with all of this analysis and then that's what you came up with as the conclusion? Our conclusion is, I know about the $1 trillion spending. I know all about that statistics. I know that it's not actual wealth. I understand all of that. But the bottom line is you can't take something from people that don't have nothing. So don't tell me that African Americans don't have the buying power and the money to get something done, because if they didn't, nobody would be trying to appeal to them. You can't take something from people that ain't got nothing. Amos Wilson told you that. It's the same thing with people on the continent. How are you going to take, you calling Africa a shithole, but yet you don't want to leave Africa? If Africa's a shithole, leave it to the Africans. Get your ass out of off the African continent. But you ain't gonna do that, because that shithole has gold. That shithole has diamonds. That shithole has minerals and resources and every fucking thing else that you want. So you're being disingenuous when what you're trying to do is like a guy who wants the pretty girl, but he's trying to convince everybody that she's an ugly bitch. No, nigga, I got eyes. I can see. I know she's fine, and I know you don't want nobody talking to her, but guess what? I'm taking your bitch. How about that? If she ain't no good, you won't miss her. You know what I'm saying? People are just being disingenuous, man. They're being disingenuous. Oh, okay, let me get back to Efosa. Efosa said, don't debate them, leave them alone. We'll build African without them, and our government will declare them persona non grata. I agree with you, but I also agree with Minister DeWoo that one of the biggest problems that we have in terms of getting this thing to go viral is there's too many voices out here that's running counter to what we're saying. A lot of people don't know about the BAIO. I don't really see a lot of people other than the usual suspects passing on information about the BAIO. Like, I don't see posts on Facebook where I go, oh shit, they posted something from the BAIO, or they posted something from Holip's show or Minister's show, other than the usual suspects. The people that's in this chat room and the normal people. But the average person, black person that we know, is not passing for us this information. They listening to all these black talking heads, and what these black talking heads are saying is, "Oh, you crazy, nationhood? What are you crazy on the continent? What's wrong with you people?" They are looking at people who present that as an option as being ridiculous. So, and it's actually no skin off our teeth, because that we'll curb stomp them in a debate. Who is going to debate me, Minister DeWood, Kala, Neo, and Dynast? And I'll throw in Thomas just to be unfair. Who? Yeah, Mr. Cat, I hear you. They're getting too much exposure. It's too much. They are ramping up this anti-nationhood narrative. And we got to be like, the 300 at the hot gates with this shit. You will not pass. You are not going to pass into 2019 on that bullshit. So I hear you, Ifosa. I mean, that's been my mentality. My mentality has always been ignore these people and just do what we got to do. But what we got to realize is that a lot of these people have the hearts and minds of our people. A lot of these people have the hearts and minds of our people. So we have to humiliate them in front of the people so that the people will know that they're clowns officially. The people that know what time it is already know they're clowns. But it's a lot of people that listen to them and take them seriously and consider their voices valid. We have to invalidate them and show them that they're not serious people. And the only way to do that is in a head to head debate. And that's going to be, I'd be shocked if that actually happened because that's going to be a slaughter. Right? It's going to be an absolute slaughter. Especially when the people who's going to be debating us are going to be actually giving us layups and alley oops. Like I said, Yvette Carnell and Tone Talks actually, their data in terms of our situation here in America is completely 100% valid. I've never had a problem with them. I've never had a problem with them in terms of the data. Like they always talk about the data, the data, the data. Their data is on point. It's never been an issue with the data. My issue is with the conclusion, the analysis of the data. And what's this? Oh, okay. Let me. I don't have my. Wait, is Dundada here? Yo, peace, Dundada. Okay, I didn't think anybody was here to approve the comments. I didn't see O'Shea's show yesterday, so I don't know. I don't know what that was about. But like I was saying, the data is fine. The problem is the analyzation of the data and the conclusion. You don't look at all that data and then go, see, we gotta get the white man to help us because we can't do shit for ourselves. Like, what, nigga? Really? That's your conclusion? Yeah, I hear you, Christopher. He said debating is a waste of time. Blacks have been debating each other since Book of Washington, but nothing substantial has been accomplished. Ultimately, the black issue is their fear worldwide of whites. I would agree with that, but I would also agree that there hasn't really been a um a head-to-head debate with nationalists and do it right here. That hasn't happened yet. And the purpose of it happening is not to sell anything. See, that's the difference. Like a lot of these debates are just events where people are trying to rent, open up some venue and make money. I'm not interested in that. We can do the debate online. We can do a Google Hangout debate. It's not necessary to have a physical place where we're sitting there debating. All we need is a good moderator that will let each person talk and present their side, a point and a counterpoint. And then at the end, people can look at that, go over it, and see who made more sense. The question to me is, and like I said, I'm going to supersede and skirt over all of this bullshit. Should we have a nation of our own? Because if you say no, why are we debating? We got to have some ground rules to this debate. Do people believe in black power? Because they claim to be about black power. They claim they have all these channels where they want people to donate to them so that they can tell you about black issues. So do you really believe that black people should have power? Yes or no? We have to first have that. If you can't answer that question, then there ain't going to be a debate. If you're saying, yeah, black people need power, then we have to start at there. We have to start off on an even kill. Okay, you're saying black folks need power. We're saying black folks need power. Now we can debate because then the issue becomes, well, what is power? What does that mean to you? And what does it mean to me? You know what I'm saying? So and trust me, y'all, trust me, brothers. Everybody that's saying debating don't matter. I am definitely on your side, and I've been on your side all this time. I really feel like I'm getting ready to do something dirty by even doing it. You know what I'm saying? So don't think that I'm just pro debate, because I'm not. But my thing is, there's been a lot of ramping up of this anti-African, anti-nationhood rhetoric going into 2019. And what I'm saying as a black African Senate progressive and a black nationalist is, you will not pass, nigga. You will not pass. You ain't taking that bullshit into 2019 and letting that be the dominant narrative. Now, you can come into 2019 with your bullshit, but it's not going to be the dominant narrative. The dominant narrative going into 2019 is going to be land, infrastructure, and nationhood. And anybody that's not kicking that as a solution to our collective problems here in America is a fucking clown, and nobody should be listening to them. That's the whole point. I'm sorry, I'm kind of ignoring the chat room here, but Del De Niro Uncut says, niggas said we can't have a nation of our own. We need white people. That's the mentality of these Captain America Negroes. Yep. Just having Dynas on our side will eat them alive. Yeah, that, like, having Dynas is just unfair. It's already unfair. You can have me, you, and Kala and Neo, and it'd be unfair. Adding Dynas and Thomas is just that's just not real. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. That'd be like that Floyd Mayweather fight that he just had where he annihilated this little Asian dude. I bet. Oh, Black Action Production, peace, fam. I bet if BAIO did a pay-per-view debate, we would get a few thousand views and even money to catch round flights to the con. Yeah, you're right. You're right, because people love to be entertained. Mr. Cat says we can't offer our children a future of begging the white man for the next 100 years for reparations. And that's what the conclusion that they came from with the data, if you can believe that. Jamal says they present the data but feel depressed after hearing the data, no solutions. Yeah. Yep. So true. Hold on. Yo, Jamal. Wait a minute. Is this Jamal in the group, or is this a different Jamal? Because if you're Jamal in the group, I got a question for you. Did you just came back from Tanzania, right? Or you still in Tanzania? Unless I'm confused, because there might be another Jamal. I'm not sure. It seems like we have, Mr. Cat says, it seems like we have opposition on both sides, and neither side is seeking true power. True. Fatty Black, what's up? Who's your first target? I don't know, really. I'm not really familiar with any of these dudes. I really think, oh, I will say this. If you're one of these native motherfuckers, like native indigenous niggas, you disqualified from the debate. I don't even want to talk to you. I want to talk to people who's Black Power Americans, RBG. I'm not interested in getting to the debate, because those people don't even believe that we're African. So why are you even in the discussion? Shouldn't you be in a TP somewhere? So you're out of the debate. I don't want anybody with a fucking headdress on is not going to be in this debate. Go and straighten your hair, and have your girl straighten your hair and put your headdress on and your fucking little Native American trinkets, and go smoke your peace pipe in there with the rest of those niggas. You're not involved in this discussion. Okay, Jamal. Yo, did you need me to pay you anything like that? You hit me up on Facebook. I don't want you, coming out of your pocket. I know how that is. But that's why I wanted to ask you, because I was trying to get to just let everybody know. I was trying to get Jamal. He was in Tanzania, and I said, "Yo, they got some Tanzanian pea berry coffee over there that is the #1 rated coffee in the world, and I want it." But he said he couldn't find it because he was in a different part of Tanzania. But their coffee is the bomb. Their coffee is shit, like, and I wanted some of that. I am Lucy. Peace. But yeah, that's my message for the new year for all of those still on the fence. Ask the black talking heads that you listen to, the black talking heads that you feel. Oh, peace. Search for the Uhuru. Peace, Dynas. Ask the black talking heads. Um, what when they talk about black power, what does black power mean to them? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it taste, touch, all of that? What does it look like? Visualize, put me together a visualization of what power means to you here in America. Because we already told you at the BAIO what our definition of power is. Power is the ability to define your own reality and have others submit to your definition as if it were their own. The only way you can do that, you got to control the socioeconomic and political context you exist in. You got to control a piece of territory. You have to control policy on that territory. And then maybe once you do that, you don't have to worry about being in a hotel lobby and having the police called on you because you're making a phone call. Maybe you don't have to worry about being shot in your backyard by cops because your neighbor called the cops on you or some bullshit. Or you just walking down the street and getting fucked with by other people because you're black. Maybe you wouldn't have to worry about that if you actually had control over the land that you live on. Just a thought. Because these motherfuckers want to have you going back and forth, engaged in this Batman versus the Joker relationship with white people perpetually, forever. So I want you, the person that's on the fence, to put them on notice. Put their backs against the wall and say, yo, nigga, what does black power look like to you? And when are we going to get it? Because we've been fighting for it for a very long time here in America, and I don't see any progress being made. I don't see any roads being built. I don't see any infrastructure being built. I don't see any jobs being created. What does black power mean to you? Because right now it sounds like you're talking a bunch of shit. And I'm listening to the BAIO and they talking about controlling land, infrastructure, and having a nation of their own. What's your proposal? And that's my message for 2018 going into 2019. I know you guys are with your family or taking care of whatever business you got to take care of. And I just want to let y'all know that I love you all. If it wasn't for the BAIO, I don't know what the hell I would do. And when I say the BAIO, I'm not speaking in some vague abstract thing. I'm talking about Dynas. I'm talking about Minister. I'm talking about Kala. I'm talking about Thomas. I'm talking about Neo. I'm talking about everybody in this group, Black Atcha Production, who's been a strong soldier. Strong soldier. I'm talking about everybody. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Minister's going to do a show at 9. Oh, snap. We're going to get some last minute thoughts going into the new year. I am Lucy. Peace. Another strong soldier. I'm just blessed and honored to be around you people. Blessed and honored, man. I'm so happy that I met each and every one of y'all. I'm so happy that I interact with each and every one of you. I love you more than you can even imagine. And y'all are like my family. Not like my family. You are my family. I'm closer with y'all than I am my actual family, believe it or not. And I love that y'all feel like you can reach out to me anytime you want. Like I have people who talk to me on Facebook, people who send me emails and texts and stuff like that, or people who call me on the phone and want to talk to me. And I appreciate every call, every text, every communication because I love y'all just as much as you love me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna stay on. I just wanted to get that out and just put an end to this bullshit. Because I'm seeing too many dumb motherfuckers talking, oh, you don't need no nation of your own. You should just go over there and try to humble yourself. Man, fuck you, nigga. I ain't humbling shit. And no African American should be humbling anything. We've been humble for fucking 400 years. If we're brothers and if we're sisters, then don't be offended because we want our slice of the continent, just like everybody else. Every country over there has their slice of the continent. They can do what they want to do on their land. They can control the policy on their land, and nobody calls it divisive. So don't call it divisive when your brother or your sister, in quotes, wants to come home. We have our point of view and we want to express it on the continent just like everybody else is. And like I said, if you ain't kicked nobody off the land because you're dealing with the Chinese, then you shouldn't be kicking anybody off of any land because you're dealing with us. Stop it with the bullshit. And on that note, get 2018 out of here. Happy 2019. And I will talk to you good people later. Love you all. Peace.